What better way to start the year than to read your best books of 2024? So I got your recommendations when I posted my 2024 favorites because it's only fair that I try yours too. I'm always recommending so many. So I have a list. I have a pile. I have 6 for this video. Obviously, I'm not going to have time to get to all of them, but my goal is to find one 5-star. That's the goal. Last year I did the same thing, and the first book that I read was a 5-star. So I only did 1 reading vlog, and I think I'm going to do 2 this year, just no matter what happens. But the ultimate goal is to find one favorite. So we can definitely do this. I feel like we have overall similar tastes. So these are the ones I'm currently the most intrigued by. So the first one, I think I'm going to start with this one because I'm really excited. And it is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. I have read like 5 or 6 books by her so far, and I have enjoyed most of them. Most of them were 4. But you've told me that this is her best. I believe you. So this is an adult fantasy. All of her books tend to have kind of fairy tale-esque vibes. So which usually doesn't work for me, but in her case it does. I tend to enjoy her writing, her sense of humor. So there's a witch. Honestly, that's all I need. I believe this like the evil mother that is the witch. So yes, I'll read this. And again, might be my first read of the vlog. Now, the next one. So many of you told me to absolutely read this. This is The Spear Cuts Through Water. I have read the first like 20-30 pages because I wasn't sure what to read the other day, and I did that with 2 books. And the other one, the writing was just faster paced. I was in a little bit in reading slump. So I'm excited to give this one a shot though, because again, everyone has raved about it. It's a little bit chunkier than the other ones, but so many of you told me that this was also an all-time favorite for you now. And I believe this is also an adult high fantasy standalone, which there aren't enough of those. So that's cool. The next one is a bit more outside of my comfort zone, but I do want to try your favorites. They're not always going to be exactly what is on my radar, and that's the beauty of it. So this is Blue Sisters. I have seen her other book, Cleopatra and Frankenstein, literally everywhere. I feel like the literary fiction girlies are loving it, and I've been wanting to read it, but I had a feeling it wasn't going to work for me, so I kind of just never did. But apparently this one is even better. So this is it. I'm going to try it. This one you're following 4 sisters. One of them passes away, so all 3 other ones meet up at their like family home, childhood home, and I'm assuming this is going to be about grief, but I'm excited to try it. I have heard good things. This one was a last-minute edition, and I'm really excited for it. Also, this is We Used to Live Here. This is horror. And horror is definitely my cup of tea. I've realized last year I read so many of them, and they've been working more for me than mystery thrillers, which I never thought, but here we are. But this one, I'm intrigued because so many of you told me that this was your best book of last year, or one of your best books. And then, of course, as soon as I mentioned I got this, everyone came out to tell me that they And I feel like horror in general is one of those genres that you'll look at like Goodreads, for example, and the rating is just going to be lower on average no matter what. Same thing with like classics or any books that people have to read in school. So I don't really trust the ratings for these kind of books. I just want to try it. I believe the 2 main characters just bought a house to renovate it, and then people that used to live there show up and ask for a tour, which I wouldn't even open the door, but you know. I'm assuming things are gonna get creepy, so I'm all ears. I feel like it's really dark really early, so like this is a time for me to read this. So probably will, and I'm pretty sure it's like wintry because you can see the snow. So again, perfect time to read this. I was saying I love witches, so of course I got more witches. This is Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery. Okay, this one, I had seen it on a list of like horror recommendation actually, and a lot of you told me that I should pick it up. It was one of the only ones I hadn't read. And I wasn't sure just because it's set in like Puritan times, like 1600 in the US. And I feel like the witchy books that are more historical fiction don't tend to work for me, but you told me that it was worth it. I believe people were saying that it's really frustrating to read at first, but then the ending is worth it. So I want to love it too. Again, witchy. It has to work, right? And then last but not least for this video, I have this option, which is Listen for the Lie, which I believe you told me I should listen to that one as an audiobook if possible. So I'm going to have to double check what happens with that. But this is a like crime podcast partially, which I have been really enjoying those. And at the same time, it's like a murder mystery. I think this is the one with the 2 girls. Yeah. Small town in Texas. They've been like best friend. Everyone loved them. And then one day, one of them is... and then the other one shows up full of blood, so people think she did it kind of thing. So I feel like I haven't been really lucky with those really popular mystery thrillers, but I get sucked in because I want to love them too. So we'll see if that works for me or not. So these are my options for this specific video. And like I said, I think I'm going to ask you in my next video. It's going to be posted before I post this one, which one specifically you want me to read. That way I will have your current recommendation, but I'm starting with this one because I really want to read this. And again, witchy, you can never go wrong with that. I will read your favorite books until I find one 5-star. I just finished my first book for this challenge and I did enjoy it. Unfortunately for the book, it was extremely damaged because of Claudia. I'm assuming it's her because this huge scratch, it has happened to me. I was scratched, not because she's violent, although she kind of is, but it's because of Chip. He's a gremlin. He's an asshole. I haven't shown you actually an update of him. I'm going to show you pictures of him actually. I have this cute picture of him and Claudia looking at birds on the TV and he's huge. He's huge. The vet says he's not even 1 year old. I'm not sure I believe him because he's huge and honestly is an a-hole. Okay, I keep calling him the gremlin because he's driving everyone nuts. He has been learning not to bite, but he's a little slow. He's a little slow to learn. Anyway, let's talk about the book. I did overall enjoy it. I think I'm going to round it up to a 4, but this is probably like a 3.5 star. I thought I was going to love it more than I did. So it was about an evil mother and she is a witch and she controls her daughter. She makes her like obedient whenever she's not doing what she wants to do. And she ends up having to find a new men to marry and, you know, get money out of. And that's kind of the situation. I did enjoy one of the female character, the older female character. She was interesting, but overall I kind of just wasn't as emotionally invested in the story as I wanted to be. And I had a couple more post-its than that, but Claudia, that is definitely something I fault her for. She loves the plasticky ones. Plastic. Yeah. Maybe she's a Barbie girl. Who knows? There were a few moments that were almost a little creepy, which I appreciate that she was able to do that. Overall, my opinion is just meh. Like, it was okay. It was okay, which it's not a good start, but it's okay. I did ask you in my most recent video, my TBR for January, which books you wanted me to focus on, and you gave me some strong opinions, so I think I'm gonna have a better time with the rest of the vlog. So the one that you guys seem to want me to read the most was this one, but it took me longer to read this one than I expected, so I feel like it might be a little too slow paced and long for me to read, but I'm gonna do a second vlog, so I think this is gonna be the first one I read at that time. Because like I said, I had started that one and it was pretty slow, but I heard you, I heard you. The second one that you gave me a lot of positive feedback about is this one, which, yes, I want to read this. So you know what, this is going to be the next one. We used to live here because, like I said, the other one had a few like almost horror moments and it made me realize I'm in the mood for it. Things get dark really easily, really early, and there's a very boring... I don't know why. I expected something more interesting because the cover is really cool. And I feel like I've heard nothing about the actual plot. So, actually that's not true. Some of you told me that you don't get all the answers, which can be a deal breaker, but I feel like it happens really often with horror. So again, I'm going into it not expecting much, and yeah, horror, which honestly, going back to Chip, okay? I feel like I've been talking to you about him in forever, and he's such a gremlin. The other day, at 3 in the morning, I was hearing noise and I got scared, obviously. I get up, and this little was in the bathtub, which obviously that's making a lot of creepy noise. He decided to pull out my hair from the drain, and that was what he was playing with. Like, thank you, because I hate doing that. It grosses me out. But yeah, that was something. Thank you, I guess. He's such a little idiot, but the other ones are finally starting to like him. They were not pleased with him for months, especially Charlie was not a fan, but now they're cuddling. So everything is good. We're happy. The household is finally under control and a little bit more peaceful. I think this is going to be it in terms of like the first 5 stars. So I did not expect to update you this quickly, but 2 days later, I finished it. There's like a million post-its, and obviously I went into it hoping that I was going to love it, right? But as I had mentioned in the intro, a lot of people came out as soon as I said that, oh, I bought it, I'm excited. Well, I didn't like it. So look, it makes me a little nervous. And the first half, it took me, you know, a little while to get into it because, I don't know, there was something about dialogues that I was trying to figure out what was annoying me with it. Like, not deal breaker wise, but just there was a little something. But then the second half happens. So the story is definitely this couple. One of them only is at home, Eve, and she's a bit of a people pleaser, and when the family comes around, she can't say no, which can't relate. I was related for that first half a lot more to Charlie, who had no issue saying no to things and just dealing with the creepiness, because of course things start getting weird. I'm not going to include any spoilers, but I can happily do that in the comment section as always. But I related to her because, you know how I was mentioning that the cat was playing in the bathtub at night? I went and looked. I went and looked because I would. And if I had seen something creepy, no, I didn't. I would have went back to bed. Locked the door, but went back to bed. So I feel like I was relating to Charlie, and then again, things took a turn, and there's kind of a subgenre to it, which again, I can spoil in the comment section, but let's just say that it's right up my alley. Right up my alley. So I got really invested in the story, and I feel like I don't know about you, but I feel like sometimes I am so focused on getting the answers that I'm not enjoying enough the ride. So I feel like I almost want to reread it right away. And I never say that about books. So you can tell I definitely really enjoyed it. And I had mentioned how a few people said that you don't get all the answers, which it tends to happen with certain genres, right? Including horror. But I think that it suits the book. And I felt like I got enough answers. Like I was happy with it. So I am looking forward to forgetting. Okay? Please, Emily, little brain, forget in a couple years and I'll reread it. I'll reread it. I feel like I haven't read any books like that. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know. But I feel like I've seen movies like this, like low budget movies. And like, I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that like, I will go out of my way to find movies like that. And they don't tend to be super popular, hence like cheap ones, the affordable, affordable ones. So I'm glad that this was actually published. I'm looking for recommendations. I will be looking myself for recommendations, and I could see this actually becoming a movie. There were definitely a few moments I was actually creeped out. And like, again, winter, right? It's like 6 o'clock. So dark, so dark. First 5-star of the year, I think. Is it? I feel like I took a few days off beginning of the month, and my brain has been off since. Pretty sure this is my first 5-star, and yay. Obviously, we're not going to end the vlog here. That would be ridiculous, especially it took me 2 days. So I do still have time, and I will do the second vlog no matter what, like I had said. So I did pick one of the shorter ones to finish the vlog because I don't have time to read something too big. I have like, I don't know, 3 days left if I want to follow my schedule, which I'm trying. So this one is 300 pages. I can do that. I can do that. So Slewfoot, Slewfoot, and I feel like it's on team. It's horror and witches. Like this is we need to just keep it, you know, on team. So I'm looking forward to that one. I'm assuming this is going to be, you know, the classic Puritan times. So the woman probably does anything, just exist in upsetting someone. And demons or like Satan. I feel that's usually how it goes. So I'm excited. Claudia's yelling at the door, obviously. Ooh, okay, you guys had told me that there were pictures, but I hadn't looked. This is cool. And I think there's some also for, yeah, each chapter there's like a creepy picture. I think they're done by the author because, oh yeah, you see his name. I don't want to spoil all of them, but you can see like his name. So I guess he drew them too. So, but it's going to be hard to beat this one because right now, this is obviously the best one of the two. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do like a best to worst. So far, it wasn't worse, but by the way, I've been asked to talk more about beauty products when I'm finding something I like, and like I can't stop wearing this. This is the e.l.f. Squeeze Me Lip Balm. This is a grape one. It literally tastes like grape candy. So with the lighting right now, it looks amazing. It tastes so good. So good. And it's e.l.f., so it's super cheap, but can it beat the first spot? 3 cats. I am once again completely unprepared to vlog this part because I also read this in 2 days. What's going on? I will not be complaining because going through books way faster than you're planning is just ideal. So it was also 300 pages and I read it super quickly. Honestly, first of all, this book made me extremely glad that I was born now because I would have been so quickly. The main female character can't keep her mouth shut, and same. So I wouldn't have made it during those times at all. So she was sold by her father to be shipped to America, and she was married to this man who is too nice for his own good. He doesn't have a backbone, and the brother of that man doesn't like her. And in these mysterious circumstances, her husband passes away. So obviously, the brother wants the farm back because he had kind of tricked his brother into renting it or like paying it off slowly, and he doesn't want her to have it. And things happen until, you know, ultimately he's going to call her a witch, as they would. And I loved it. Once again, I understand why you were warning me that I would be really frustrated in the first half, but like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, I feel like during those times, that's exactly what happened. And I feel like she was relatable because, again, she was struggling to keep her mouth shut, which I feel like I struggle to relate to the ones, I mean, I don't always have to relate, but like you'll often find in movies specifically, these women just trying to and failing. And I appreciate that she's not trying too much. She's still really focusing on trying to, you know, succeed. I just want to say that I hate the book, like the cover. I don't know if you can tell, like it's curling up. I've barely done anything to this book and it's breaking apart, but I do really love all the pictures. I was editing the clip and I saw that the the light reflection you couldn't really see. I'll show you another one, okay? If you don't want to see any, don't look, but like I loved it. Look at this. It was really nice to, you know, have a visual of these creatures. Sometimes you'll have these descriptions and like from that picture, could you really imagine an animal with a child's face? I feel like that's not really what I would have imagined. So I really appreciated, once again, the pictures that the author drew himself. So that was cool. And I was happy with the ending, which that was also my worry because, you know, how do you end these books? It wasn't as historical fiction as I feared, which I have mentioned that those don't really tend to work for me. Surprisingly, I'm going to give it also 5. And I say that because I didn't think I was going to for, again, the beginning, but then, you know, things get, they get. So 5 star. Oh my gosh. This is like the best way to start the year. I mean, we're going to forget about the first book. Who cares? But 2 5-star and then 1 3.5, which I was going to round it up. And the more I think about it, the more I kind of want to round it down. Like, I feel like I'm realizing that when it takes me so long to finish a book, it's not me. I'm not the problem, you know? When I'm enjoying myself, I just binge read the book, which, I mean, sometimes you don't binge read the book and you still love it, but I'm extremely happy with how this vlog went. Found 2 new favorites, and I am looking forward to part 2. I think I'm going to do that again in February because I have a few videos I really need to do in January. My next reading vlog is going to be my first Read It or Unhaul It of 2025, and I'm extremely excited. Again, we're starting on such a strong note. Everything is going to go well. Probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed this really quick and fun reading vlog. I didn't have much time to record this week, but I really, really wanted to do this video. And again, it went so well that I'm really excited to continue. So feel free to let me know out of the books that I was mentioning in the intro, which ones you want me to focus on. Again, I know the spear one will happen, and I'll figure out a way maybe to get the audiobook for the other one. Speaking of Read It, Unhaul It, I did do the recap of last year and the announcement of what's going to happen for this year. I would highly recommend you watch that. And my January TBR if you want to see all the challenges that I'm hoping to do. And I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye. 2 5-star. Honestly, could not have went better. I'm so happy.